Have you ever forgotten the name of someone you know well? Or found yourself standing in a room without remembering why you walked in? Maybe you left the keys in the fridge, or your phone ringing without noticing. Don't worry, you're not alone. These little lapses are more common than you might imagine after a certain age, but they're also signals worth paying attention to. The truth is that dementia doesn't arrive all at once. It's not like turning a light on or off. It's a slow, silent process that can begin years before symptoms are obvious. And although we often think it's inevitable, science is showing the opposite. What we eat, how we live, how we care for our mind, can make a huge difference. Today, I want to tell you something you might not know. There are certain natural compounds that have a protective effect on your brain. They're called flavonoids. And the best part is they're not in expensive medicines or hard-to-find supplements. They're in something as simple and delicious as fruit. In this video, I'm going to tell you which are the 3 fruits richest in flavonoids that, according to recent studies, can help you reduce the risk of dementia after the age of 60. But that's not all. I'm also going to explain how to consume them correctly, which mistakes you should avoid, and how to integrate them into your life naturally. So if you're over 60 years old, or if you care for someone who is, this video is for you. Because it's never too late to protect our mind and strengthen our memory. Sometimes a small daily decision, like which fruit you choose for breakfast, can be the start of a big difference. And before we start, I would love to hear from you. How old are you, and from which country are you watching us? Write it in the comments. I love reading you and knowing that this message is reaching real people with real stories all around the world. Nature's natural guardians of the brain. Nature, with its age-old wisdom, holds secrets we're only beginning to understand. One of those secrets is flavonoids. The name might sound complicated, but they're actually very common substances. They're present in many fruits, vegetables, teas, and even in pure cocoa. What's interesting is what they do inside your body, and above all, inside your brain. Imagine your neurons, those tiny connections that let you remember a name, solve a problem, recognize a loved one's voice, are constantly working. But over the years, the body produces something called oxidative stress. It's as if time, toxins, and silent inflammation begin to damage those connections little by little. You don't notice this right away, but over time it can affect your memory, your attention span, even your mood. This is where flavonoids come in. They are antioxidant and anti-inflammatory compounds. That is, they act like a kind of shield for your neurons. They help neutralize free radicals, those harmful molecules that attack cells, and reduce chronic inflammation in the brain. In simple terms, flavonoids are your mind's natural defenders. Several studies back this up. Researchers at universities like Harvard and Tufts have followed thousands of older adults for decades to understand which habits are linked to better brain health. The result? Those who consumed a diet rich in flavonoids showed a significant reduction in the risk of developing dementia. One of the best-known studies, published in the year 2021 in the journal Neurology, concluded that people who consumed more flavonoids had up to 30% lower risk of cognitive decline. 30%, just from what you eat. Think of it this way. Imagine 2 70-year-old people. One eats oatmeal with blueberries for breakfast, drinks green tea in the afternoon, and has apples for dessert at dinner. The other person eats processed products, sugary drinks, almost no fresh fruit. Both may look healthy on the outside, but on the inside their brains are living very different realities. The first is strengthening their neurons day by day. The second, without knowing it, is leaving them exposed to wear and tear. I remember the case of Mr. Manuel, a 69-year-old man I interviewed some time ago. He told me he started having small lapses, misplacing objects, not remembering his neighbors' names, feeling clumsier when speaking. Instead of resigning himself, he decided to make simple changes. He began to include flavonoid-rich fruits every day. After 3 months, he noticed he felt mentally clearer, with more energy and less anxiety. It wasn't magic, it was consistency. And that's the power of flavonoids. You don't need to make big sacrifices or spend a lot of money. They're in foods you can easily get, and that are, besides, delicious. In short, flavonoids are like silent guardians that defend your brain from aging. They help keep your neural connections active, protect you from decline, and improve your memory and concentration. And the best part is that the change starts with something as simple as what you choose to put on your plate. Small, but powerful. They say the best essences come in small bottles, and when it comes to brain health, blueberries are the best example. They're tiny, soft, a deep blue color, almost mysterious. But what they hide inside is a real treasure for the mind. Over the last 20 years, blueberries have become one of the most studied fruits by science, especially in the field of neurology. The reason? Their very high concentration of flavonoids, particularly a group called anthocyanins. These compounds not only give them that characteristic color, but also have a powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effect on the brain. A study published by the University of Exeter in the United Kingdom showed that daily consumption of blueberries for 12 weeks significantly improved working memory in older adults. That is, it helped people retain short-term information, like remembering a phone number or following instructions without getting confused. Other studies conducted in the United States revealed that this fruit also improves blood flow in the brain and may support greater concentration and mental quickness. But the most interesting part is that we're not talking about impossible quantities. Half a cup a day is enough to start noticing benefits. And here's where the practical part comes in. How can you easily include them in your diet? There are many ways to eat blueberries. The best option is always fresh, especially when they're in season. But you can also find them frozen, which retain almost all their properties. Add them to your breakfast with oatmeal or plain yogurt. Blend them into smoothies with other fruits, or simply eat them as a snack between meals. That said, here's an important warning. Avoid products with processed blueberries. Many jams, juices, or pastries with blueberry flavor are loaded with sugar and barely contain real flavonoids. Eating the whole fruit is not the same as an industrial version. If you don't have access to fresh blueberries, unsweetened frozen ones are a great alternative. And to show you this isn't just theory, I want to tell you Clara's story, a 73-year-old woman I met in a mindful eating workshop for older adults. She told me she'd been struggling with constant forgetfulness, especially in the mornings. She started drinking a daily smoothie with blueberries, banana, and oatmeal, and after a couple of months, she not only felt clearer, but also in a better mood. "I feel like my head wakes up faster," she told me with a smile. The changes Clara saw weren't instant or miraculous, but steady. And that's what matters most at this stage of life. Small, sustained habits that help us preserve the most valuable thing we have: our identity, our memories, our mind. In short, blueberries are a noble and powerful fruit. Incorporating them into your daily diet can be a simple decision with a huge impact. Half a cup a day, preferably in the morning, can help keep your memory steadier, your mind more alert, and your day a little clearer. An apple a day, for your mind too. You've surely heard the saying, "An apple a day keeps the doctor away." The curious thing is that this popular idea isn't so far from the truth, especially when we talk about brain health. Because what many people don't know is that apples contain one of the most potent flavonoids to protect your memory: quercetin. Quercetin is found mainly in the apple's peel. It's a compound with antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties that protects brain cells from the progressive damage caused by aging. It also improves blood circulation in the brain, which means more oxygen and nutrients get where they're most needed. In day-to-day life, this translates into a more alert mind, stronger memory, and greater mental clarity. Several studies have linked frequent apple consumption with better cognitive function. One of them, conducted by Cornell University, showed that quercetin protects brain cells against oxidative damage, especially in areas related to learning and memory. And more recently, a longitudinal study in older adults observed that those who ate apples at least 3 times a week had a lower risk of cognitive decline than those who didn't include them in their diet. And why is it so important to keep the peel on? Because that's where the greatest amount of flavonoids is concentrated. When you peel it, you lose much of the benefit. So whenever you can, choose organic apples or wash them well and eat them with their peel. The varieties richest in quercetin are red apples like Fuji, Red Delicious, and Gala. Now, when is it best to eat them? Apples are especially useful in the morning or as an afternoon snack. They provide energy, fiber, and help keep blood sugar more stable, something essential for older adults. You can eat them on their own, in slices with a bit of cinnamon, or paired with plain yogurt or nuts. You can even add them to salads for a sweet, crunchy touch. But here's an important warning. Avoid industrial apple juices. Even when they say natural, most have lost flavonoids through processing and contain too much sugar. Drinking juice is not the same as eating the whole fruit. Your body also needs the fiber, which helps absorb nutrients gradually and protects digestion. I remember Julia, a 75-year-old woman I spoke with a few months ago. She had a family history of dementia and was very worried about her memory. Her doctor suggested simple changes: more walks, less sugar, and antioxidant-rich fruits. Since then, she eats a red apple every morning. "I don't know if it's just the fruit," she told me, laughing, "but since I started, my head feels lighter and my mood feels stronger." And that's the beautiful thing about these foods. They don't just nourish the body, they can also give us a sense of control, routine, and self-care. Eating an apple can be a small ritual that tells your brain, "I'm with you, I take care of you, I want you well." In short, the apple isn't just an ordinary fruit. It's a quiet ally for your mental health. Rich in quercetin, easy to find, and perfect to incorporate every day, it's a tasty shield against mental decline. And if you're already eating apples, wait until you discover the next fruit. It has a stronger flavor, a darker color, and even more surprising benefits for the mind. I'll tell you, right now. The hidden treasure of the bunch. At first glance, black grapes may seem like just another fruit at the supermarket. But if you look closely, their deep color and intense flavor reveal something more, a natural richness that goes far beyond taste. Because inside each black grape are compounds capable of protecting your mind, improving your mood, and helping your memory stay strong, even after 70. The key lies, once again, in flavonoids. Black grapes, especially those with dark, thick skins, are rich in a flavonoid called resveratrol, found in their peel and seeds. This compound has been the subject of multiple studies for its potential to improve heart health, reduce inflammation, and particularly protect the brain from aging. When we eat black grapes with their skin and seeds, we're taking in a unique combination of antioxidants. These compounds help reduce the damage free radicals cause to neurons and promote better communication between brain cells. It has also been observed that resveratrol can improve blood flow in the brain, supporting greater mental clarity, better attention, and faster information processing. But not all grapes are the same. Green grapes, while healthy, contain fewer flavonoids than black ones, and seedless grapes, though easier to eat, often have lower concentrations of key nutrients. So if your goal is to care for your mind, black grapes with seeds and skin are the best option. That said, you need to be careful with the amount. Grapes, although natural, contain sugars that can raise glucose levels if eaten in excess. The ideal amount is 1 handful per day, around 15 units, preferably in the morning or mid-afternoon when the body is more active and can use that energy better. And very important, avoid industrial grape juices. Although they may taste natural, most are full of added sugar and have lost much of their beneficial compounds during manufacturing. Red wine is also not recommended as a source of resveratrol for older adults because alcohol can interfere with memory, sleep, and common medications at this stage of life. I'm going to tell you Arthur's story, a 78-year-old man I met during a health talk for older adults. Arthur had begun to feel mentally slow. He struggled to concentrate, forgot what he read, and often felt discouraged. On his nutritionist's recommendation, he started including black grapes with his breakfast every day. He didn't change anything else, just that. After 1 month, Arthur noticed he felt clearer in the mornings and could read the newspaper without rereading each paragraph several times. His daughter told him he seemed more alert and in a better mood. He told me something I won't forget. I felt as if the fog had lifted from my head. That's the magic of good eating. It doesn't cure everything, but it can change a lot. And when we talk about memory, any progress is valuable. Sometimes what you need isn't a complicated medicine, but a dark, firm, natural, and powerful fruit. In short, black grapes are a potent ally for your brain health. Full of flavonoids, helpful for improving blood flow to the brain and protecting your neurons from wear and tear. Just remember to eat them in moderation, with their skin and seeds, and always in their most natural form. It's not just what, but how. So far, we've seen that blueberries, apples, and black grapes can be great allies for keeping a sharper, better protected mind. But now comes an equally important part: how to incorporate them into your day-to-day life in a simple, practical, and safe way. Because it's not enough to know which fruits to eat. You also need to understand how much, how, and when to eat them. That's where many people make mistakes that could reduce the benefits or even cause unwanted effects. Let's take it step by step. How often should you eat them? Consistency is key. You don't need to eat the 3 fruits every day, but it is advisable for them to be present at least 5 days a week. You can alternate them according to the season, your tastes, or your access to each one. If one day you eat blueberries, the next an apple, and then a handful of grapes, you'll be giving your body a steady dose of flavonoids without going overboard. If you can eat one of these fruits each day, even better. How to integrate them into your meals? Here's where you can get creative without complicating your life. For example, a breakfast with oatmeal, plain unsweetened yogurt, and blueberries is a nutrient bomb for the brain. Mid-morning, an apple with peel is an easy, no-prep snack. In the afternoon, a handful of well-washed black grapes with skin can help you maintain energy and concentration. You can also make fruit salads combining apple pieces, grapes, and a handful of blueberries, with a touch of cinnamon or a few drops of lemon. If you prefer smoothies, blend water or unsweetened plant milk with half a small banana, frozen blueberries, and 1 tablespoon of oats. Avoid adding honey or extra sugar. The fruit's natural sweetness is more than enough. Which combinations should you avoid? This point is key. Many people buy fruit yogurts that are actually loaded with corn syrup and hidden sugars, or eat chocolate-coated blueberries, or grapes in sweet pastries. That's where the benefit gets lost. Avoid fruit cooked in syrup, commercial smoothies with added sugar, commercial dried fruits like sweetened dried blueberries, processed fruit juices that preserve neither fiber nor flavonoids. Fruit should be eaten as whole and natural as possible. What about dried fruits? Dried fruits can be a useful option if you don't have access to fresh ones, but read labels carefully. Many commercial versions come with large amounts of sugar, sulfites, and other preservatives that can harm your health. If you're going to eat dried fruits, make sure they're 100% natural, with no added sugar and in very small portions. Even so, it's not the most recommended way to get flavonoids. Whenever you can, choose fresh. And if I have diabetes? Good question. The fruits mentioned have a low or medium glycemic index, which means they don't spike blood sugar abruptly. However, quantity does matter. If you're diabetic or pre-diabetic, consult your doctor or nutritionist, but in general, 1 small apple a day is safe and beneficial. Half a cup of fresh blueberries is an excellent option. 1 handful of grapes, between 10 and 15 units, can be eaten in moderation, preferably not at night. And remember, never eat these fruits with added sugars like honey, table sugar, or syrups, because that alters their natural effect and can harm you. In short, eat these fruits 5 times a week or more. Prefer fresh, whole forms, peel included. Avoid combining them with sugars or cooking them into desserts. Consult a specialist if you have conditions like diabetes, because in the end, it's not just a matter of what you eat, but how you do it. And in caring for the mind, small details make a big difference. Eating consciously is also a way of loving yourself, protecting yourself, and investing in yourself every day. Fruit, yes, but with wisdom. Over the years, we've heard many half-truths about food. Some are repeated so often we end up believing them without question. And when it comes to fruit, there are too many beliefs that, far from helping, can confuse and keep older adults away from one of the most beneficial foods out there. Let's look at the most common mistakes and the most dangerous myths. Fruit makes you gain weight. This is a classic. Many older adults stop eating fruit because they think it contains too much sugar or that they'll gain weight. It's true that fruits have fructose, which is a type of natural sugar, but they also have fiber, water, vitamins, antioxidants, and above all, a unique ability to nourish without overloading. Portion size is key. Eating an apple, a handful of grapes, or half a cup of blueberries won't make you gain weight. In fact, it can help keep you satisfied, preventing more caloric or unhealthy cravings. The problem appears when large amounts of fruit are consumed as juice without fiber or combined with added sugar. In short, whole fruit, in moderation, doesn't make you gain weight. It nourishes. Juice is better than whole fruit. This myth has done a lot of damage. Drinking juice may seem practical, but the truth is that when you blend or squeeze a fruit, you lose some of its most important nutrients. Fiber is destroyed, and flavonoids, often in the peel or close to it, are reduced or disappear. Also, it's easy to consume 3 or 4 fruits in a single glass without noticing. That multiplies fructose and can disrupt blood sugar. By contrast, when you eat whole fruit, the body digests more slowly, nutrients absorb better, and natural balance is maintained. So whenever you can, choose to chew rather than drink. I'll just take a supplement and forget about it. Another common mistake is thinking everything can be replaced with a pill. There are flavonoid supplements on the market, yes, but the body doesn't absorb the same from a natural food as from something encapsulated. Moreover, supplements often come in concentrated doses that can interfere with medications or cause side effects if not taken with medical guidance. No capsule can offer what a whole fruit gives you: natural water, fiber, texture, satiety, and a combination of nutrients that work in synergy. There are no shortcuts when it comes to caring for the mind. Natural varied fruit remains the best path. The excess fructose problem, a hidden risk. Yes, it's true that eating too much fructose can be harmful, especially for people with diabetes or liver problems. But excess almost never comes from whole fruit. It comes from ultra-processed foods like industrial desserts, energy bars, bottled juices, sugary cereals, and fruit-flavored syrups. That is, don't blame fruit when the problem lies in products that imitate it. Eating 1 or 2 daily servings of whole fruit is safe and recommended. What you should avoid is consuming products with fruit concentrate, pasteurized juices, or snacks that promise to be healthy but are full of hidden sugar. Cooked fruit? Be careful with temperature. Many older adults prefer cooked fruit, compotes, baked, or homemade jams. And while it can be a pleasant way to vary, excessive heat can destroy flavonoids. Some antioxidant compounds are heat sensitive, and cooking them for a long time drastically reduces their power. So if you're going to cook fruit, keep the heat low, cook briefly, and don't add sugar, and always alternate with fresh fruit. In short, no, fruit doesn't make you gain weight if eaten in moderation. Juice doesn't replace whole fruit. On the contrary, it can be counterproductive. Supplements don't have the same effectiveness or safety as natural fruit. The real fructose threat is in processed products, not in an apple or a few grapes. Cooking fruit can take away some of its power. Choose fresh and whole whenever possible, because in older age every decision counts. And eating fruit is not just a healthy habit, but also an act of respect for your body and your mind. Doing it right helps you prevent, protect, and live more fully. Beyond fruit. So far, we've talked about 3 extraordinary fruits for their high flavonoid content: blueberries, apples, and black grapes. But these brain-protective compounds don't live only in fruit. The good news is that there are many other everyday foods that contain them, and you can incorporate them into your diet without major complications. This doesn't mean you should eat them all at the same time or every day, but knowing them gives you tools. You can rotate them, combine them, or adapt them to your taste and needs. That way, you protect your mind without getting bored and without overloading your body with extra calories. Some powerful sources of flavonoids. Green tea, one of the most studied beverages for its antioxidant benefits. It contains catechins, a type of flavonoid that helps reduce inflammation and improve brain circulation. You can drink 1 or 2 cups a day, preferably in the morning or mid-afternoon, without sugar or milk. Dark chocolate. Pure cocoa is rich in flavonoids called flavonols. Choose chocolate with at least 80% cocoa. Avoid milk chocolates, fillings, or high sugar. A small portion, about 2 squares, is enough to obtain benefits without excess. Red onion. Raw or cooked, it provides quercetin, the same flavonoid in apples. Add it to salads, stews, or as a soup base. Its intense flavor pairs well with sweet vegetables like carrot or squash. Fresh parsley. Although sometimes seen only as decoration, parsley has a high concentration of flavonoids, especially apigenin. Sprinkle it fresh over your dishes, salads, or soups just before serving. Kale and broccoli. 2 vegetables that, in addition to vitamins, provide flavonoids important for brain health. Steam them, sauté them lightly, or include them in soups. How to complement without exceeding calories. As we age, our body needs fewer calories but more nutrients. So it's not about eating more, but choosing better. The idea is for these flavonoid-rich foods to replace empty products like cookies, white bread, sodas, or processed snacks. If you used to eat toast with jam in the afternoon, try replacing it with plain yogurt and blueberries. If you used to drink coffee with milk 3 times a day, alternate with green tea. Changing doesn't always mean giving up. Sometimes it means gaining more. Antioxidant menu for a full day. Breakfast. Cooked oatmeal with plant milk or water. Red apple cut into cubes, sprinkled with cinnamon. 1 cup of unsweetened green tea, mid-morning. 1 handful of fresh blueberries. 1 square of dark chocolate. Lunch. Salad of leafy greens with red onion, grated carrot, and fresh parsley. Baked chicken or stewed lentils. 1 glass of water with cucumber and lemon slices. Snack. Plain unsweetened yogurt with half a banana and cinnamon. Mint or ginger infusion. Dinner. Pumpkin soup with onion and turmeric. Vegetable omelette. 1 handful of black grapes. Relaxing tisane to sleep better. Simple recipe. Antioxidant salad with the 3 fruits. Ingredients. Half an red apple with peel. Half a cup of black grapes, halved. 1 handful of fresh blueberries. A few baby spinach or arugula leaves. Chopped walnuts or chia seeds. A splash of lemon. 1 teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil. Preparation. Cut the fruit into small pieces and mix with the greens. Add the nuts or seeds and finally dress with the olive oil and lemon. You can eat this salad as a lunch side or even as a light dinner. The best thing about dishes like this is that they not only feed the body, they also lift the spirit. Eating natural colors, textures, and flavors is a simple way to care for your brain effortlessly. And remember, this is not a strict diet or an obligation. It's an invitation to choose foods that care for you from the inside and make you feel good. It's not magic, it's consistency. Sometimes we forget that the brain, like any other organ, also needs care. Just as we protect the heart with gentle walks and keep sugar in check to care for the pancreas, we can also strengthen our mind with daily decisions. You don't have to wait for a diagnosis to start caring for it. The best time is today. And no, it's not about magic or complicated formulas. It's about consistency. Understanding that after 60, every choice counts. That breakfast, a walk, a conversation, all are part of the same purpose. To keep remembering, understanding, enjoying. To keep being yourself. We've talked about 3 powerful fruits: blueberries, apples, and black grapes. They're not miraculous, but they're very effective if you make them part of your life. They are small allies that work in silence, protecting your neurons, strengthening your mental connections, keeping you present. But caring for the mind isn't only about eating well. There are 3 fundamental pillars that work together. First, nutrition. A flavonoid-rich diet is like a safety net for the brain. These fruits not only nourish, they also cleanse, repair, and strengthen from the inside. Every spoonful of blueberries, every bite of an apple with peel, every dark grape you eat, is an investment in clarity, memory, and presence. Second, movement. Moving the body also moves the mind. Walking outdoors, doing gentle exercises, stretching in the morning, or taking the stairs when you can. All this keeps blood flow active, and a well-perfused brain is a more alert, more agile, stronger brain. Third, mental stimulation. Reading, talking, learning something new, doing crosswords, remembering old songs. It all counts. The mind needs small daily challenges, just as a muscle needs tension to stay firm. The important thing isn't being perfect, but staying curious. Remember this phrase, every fruit you eat today is one step farther from forgetfulness. It's a poetic way of saying that what you do today builds your tomorrow. And if you've made it this far, it means you care, that you value your mind, your independence, your memories. And it can also mean you know someone who would benefit from this. So I invite you to do something small, but very important. Share this video with someone you want to protect from dementia. Maybe they don't know where to start, and this content could be the first step toward caring for their brain health. And tell me something! Do you already eat any of these fruits? Do you know someone who should know this? Leave it in the comments. I'll love to read you. Remember, it's not about big changes, but about small actions repeated with love and purpose. Your mind has accompanied you your whole life. Now it's your turn to take care of it. See you in the next video.